one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen in the spiritual movement is people saying that you need the night, you need the ego, you need your shadow side, you need the demons and you need the darkness in order to see and experience the light. And that's simply not true. And what it is, it's a trick of the ego and a trick of the demons to make people believe that so that they can stay on this plane. So in heaven there is no ego, there is no shadow, there is no demons, there is no night, there's no pain, no suffering, and none that the night would bring. In heaven we can enjoy a blissful life and a blissful experience with God in the light, and no one needs the darkness, no one needs pain and suffering. You can learn and grow through love and mercy. There's different paths to the same outcome, and you can do it through mercy and through self-love rather than through suffering and pain. And so you don't need the night, no one needs the night, and what we're here to actually do is transmute the night into the light, or send them back down to the underworld, so that this plane is a plane of just light again, which is heaven on earth. In the higher realms there is no darkness, and we're trying to shift this earth into a higher realm. You don't have to come, you can stay with the darkness if you want. I personally wouldn't advise it. You're basically choosing suffering and pain when you don't need to. You can basically live in the light and experience and enjoy the light. When you become enlightened and balance your chemistry, you fill yourself with so much light. When your Kundalini ascends, it illuminates every chakra, it awakens dormant DNA, and it brings in your highest self, and it also cuts off and gets rid of the ego. Your ego, you may as well see it as like, when you're in your ego is energy go, emotions is energy in motion. It's the same thing, so your ego is your emotions. When you're in your emotions and stuck in your emotional body and reacting emotionally to things, and you're not using your higher mind or higher love, you're not looking after yourself and practicing true self-love. When you're in your ego and your emotions, then you basically are allowing, you're basically a portal for the darkness and for the ego and for the demons to coexist through you and project themselves through you into this plane. The unhealed and shadow parts of yourself are also demons that you project onto this plane. Now, you can transmute those into light, and you don't have to have them anymore. True light doesn't cast a shadow. If you have a flame up against the wall, you can't see a shadow from that flame, because light doesn't cast a shadow. God is pure light. God isn't the darkness. The darkness is absence of God. You don't need the darkness. Before the darkness existed, there was just light and just God in his whole state. So the light is whole and holy. It was when parts of the light decided to descend and leave from God that they started to experience darkness and the suffering of what it feels like to be lacking in light. The word black is to be lack, and I'm not talking about skin colour or anything physical black on this plane. I'm talking about energy, but the word black is to be lack. And when I say skin colour as well, I've done a video about how people who class themselves as black, they're not black, they've got brown skin. We're all shades of brown and cream, and I wouldn't class myself as white either. We're all just different shades of kind of browns, creams, bit of rouge, why not? So no one is being lacking in light, unless you're evil. So that's why I use the word black magic, because it's magic that's lacking in light. It's actually using the night and the spiritual night and darkness. You don't need that. God didn't have darkness before we started to go away from him and basically leave the light and cut ourselves off from the light. And so in our wholeness, in our unified oneness, in our highest state, we are pure light only. We're not a balance of light and night. We don't need to be. It doesn't need to exist. We might have wanted to experience what it's like without God, but trust me, look at the state of the world, look at the real horrible dark things that have been going on. We've had enough. And if you keep saying that we need to be a balance of the light and the night, we need to accept the shadow and integrate the shadow and just see it as a part of you, you allow it to still coexist and co-create on this plane. We don't need it, we don't want it, so we need to stop falling into this ego trap of allowing it to stay through the belief that we think it needs to be here. It doesn't.